Hi friends, we are in Poland. Thank you so much for clicking on this episode. My name is Dani Walker. If you're new to the channel and if you like content like this, please consider subscribing and hitting that notifications bell as well as that super thanks button or joining memberships. We are going to talk about Miss and Mr. Supranational today, specifically for the Supramodel competition. I just left that competition as well as the bonus talent portion and I had so much fun. Be sure to check out the vlog for all the behind the scenes of that. So we're going to do a really quick rundown since I just got back from there. I'm going to pull these notes right off of my phone. For our Miss contestants, they divided them by region. So first we have Africa. There were a few standouts for me, Botswana being one of them. Cote d'Ivoire. Now, she was somebody that I was already anticipating would be in the top 5 for this competition. If she's not actually a model, I would be shocked. Then we have Nigeria. Loved the hat that she wore. And also, I love that she's a former NAM queen. I can literally remember Sectra from the time that she was a team contestant. Always stunning and always sweet. Then we have Sierra Leone. I loved her. I just love the whole look. Like, it's like this black cat suit. It was just great. South Africa, I love how much she's grown and frankly her walk has improved so much and I love that she looked at ease and I got to meet her afterwards and she was so sweet. I love her. Now, next we have our Americas. So Colombia, she really got the crowd going, okay? And of course she was well dressed and she had that Colombian confidence, okay? She really had it. I really liked, for a quick list, I liked El Salvador a lot. I liked Ecuador, Mexico. Oh my goodness. Just the moment that she walked on, she was just giving model those legs. That outfit was perfect on her. And then we had Panama and she had this like big black hat. And that's one thing I will say about this year. There were a lot of headpieces, like some type of headpiece for the misses specifically. Then we had USA. So USA was wearing a headpiece as well. I do wish she would have wore some brighter colors. So I'm hoping to see her in something brighter for prelims. Then we had Uruguay and I loved that. I don't know if that was a custom look, but it was fabulous. She was just glitter, like all glitter. And then like some of it was mesh and then the hat was fabulous. Obsessed. Then we have Venezuela and she was in neon green. Oh gosh, Venezuelan women, stunning, stunning. So for our next group, there were a few standouts for me, Australia being one of them. Now she did wear the Nadine Marabi, I believe that's how you say it, jumpsuit that I've seen a million times, but I saw it in red on her and usually we see it in black, but she did look stunning and like face so fresh, just like so many honestly Australian representatives. Now I also really loved Indonesia's gold dress that she wore for Supermodel, just fabulous. Same kind of style as Mexico, I would say, like a similar silhouette and it looked great on both of them. Then we have Japan and honestly she was just so elegant. This whole look was working for me. I don't know if she's competed before at World, but I will tell you she does have a talent and she should if she hasn't yet and if she's eligible. Laos, okay, so Laos had this really cool black outfit, like quite avant-garde, really loved that, stood out, very confident. And now we had Malaysia. So Malaysia, I absolutely loved this piece. And I know it's technically about the walk and the performance, but I still have to commend the great fashions. And the top of her dress was made out of gloves. There's like gloves across her and you could see the finger part of the gloves. And that was really neat. Philippines, wow, okay, the green and the pink that she was wearing, I loved that look. Just the draping of it and the walk, super confident, and you can tell how well prepared she is. Now we have Thailand. So in my opinion, her outfit itself was pretty safe, like if you just saw an image of it, but I'm telling you, in person, under the lights, the rhinestone fringe really added to all of it, but her walk is so strong. And with her, honestly, you could just feel her from the audience. Like you can feel this confident presence coming from her, so she was easily in my favorites. And somebody else that I loved, and I loved the styling, was Vietnam. Wow, that just like thigh high side slit thing that she had going on was so, it was so beautiful. I loved her. Now for our next group, we had Cuba. So she stood out to me. She wore this like tri-colored look, which was fantastic. And then there's something I have to say about Curacao. So her walk, everything about it, the whole presentation was very different. It's like not the norm of what we see, but I feel, and I don't know if this is true, her walk feels very inspired by Shalom's walk, specifically for the Todd Oldham show. It was an iconic performance of Shalom in the 90s. Just, absolute supermodel. And I just felt like Curaçao's walk was so inspired by that. Dominican Republic really got the crowd going, and I thought that she would have advanced because she honestly had a really great performance. And I love the styling as well. She had these huge sleeves, so structured. She looked absolutely incredible. And then Haiti. So Haiti, I don't feel like this choice of walk made the most sense for this competition, but I will say I did appreciate how fun and playful she was. She kind of reminded me of Betsy Johnson models because they're usually so much more lighthearted and playful. So she was just bringing something very different. Puerto Rico looked beautiful in her black two-piece set, so she looked great. But honestly, she's just so stunning on stage, like facially, so beautiful. Strong walk, strong performance. Europe this year was a tough group. Overall, they had some of the tallest contestants. They looked like they could all be professional models, and I'm sure some of them are. One of them I know is the first, Belgium. So I got to work with Belgium a little bit in prep for Supranational, and I'm so proud of her. I love this. We talked about, you know, how she was gonna enter and, you know, kind of like hands on hips. And then I love that she had this hood moment that made people go, wow, in the audience. So that was super fun. And you can really see that her runway experience shined. Her walk has improved so much. I'm so proud of her. Czech, oh my goodness, Czech Republic. It's the face. It's the face. I do feel like the walk needed to be pulled in a little bit more and give it more of like a straight model walk. I felt that she was a little too playful with it for this round of the competition, but so stunning. She has so many fans. So many people were cheering for her. I really liked Germany. I thought that orange looked so great with her dark hair, and she put on a great performance, but gosh, this group of contestants for this competition was very tight. Poland. So our hometown girl had a lot of favorites. The crowd was just going wild for her. I loved this look on her. It was so cute, so girly, and so feminine. And she's got so much height, and her walk is there. She looks like a model, so she did very well. So they narrowed things down to a top 10, and there was a walk-off, so the contestants were able to change their looks. Our first two were Cote d'Ivoire and Botswana for their walk-off, and for me it was still Cote d'Ivoire. She had an outfit change, she looked fabulous, but like I said, she stood out to me from the beginning of the competition. Now our next two were, next we had Bolivia and Mexico, and they both looked absolutely stunning. They both changed their outfits though for this. I actually preferred Mexico in the shorter style for this, and then Bolivia just really stunned in this green two-piece set. So when she walked out in this, gosh, all I was thinking about was how do I upcycle something like this? For our Asia group, they had a really tough time and they had to have a tiebreaker. So they actually advanced 3 contestants. There was Philippines, Thailand, and Myanmar. These 3 were so fabulous, but from the moment that you saw the 3 walk out until they recompeted, I already had a feeling about Thailand. Next, we had Aruba and Puerto Rico, and then our last 2 were Slovakia and Poland. Now, from that walk-off, they announced their top 5 and the top 5 winners. So essentially your regional winners were Cote d'Ivoire, Bolivia, Thailand, Aruba, and Slovakia. And from these 5, one gets a guaranteed placement in the final competition. So we will see at least one of these ladies moving forward. Now let's talk about our men for the competition. And I was honestly so impressed by the men's competition, just the styling, the walks. From what I heard, a lot of them are new to pageantry. So it's not like they're, you know, doing this all the time. And it was shocking because they all looked like professionals. So let's talk about some standouts. So Argentina, love the performance, but I really noticed the look because he had this like woven piece, a part of his suit. The colors were like the flag, and that was just stunning. Cote d'Ivoire really got people going in the audience. Oh my gosh. And this is what I would say about the men. We saw a lot of reveals, just a lot of great moments in general from him. So I liked that. And he had this turn and this just incredible cape that he was wearing. It was fantastic. And then Colombia. Okay, so this was a really interesting look for me because especially in comparison to all the other men, typically they do very formal looks, and Colombia's look reminded me of something that I would see at Swim Week, like, or something you could wear to Tulum. So very relaxed of a style, but he worked it and he has so much confidence. He is a great performer. I can't wait to see him during prelims. Dominican Republic was giving me Prada Fall Winter 2012. I don't know if you've seen that, but it was this really cool runway show where Prada hired a bunch of these iconic movie villains to walk in their show. And a lot of the suiting that we saw there, a lot of the men had these massive capes on. It was incredible. And so his piece was really, really fun to watch, and it was definitely eye-catching. Haiti, so he caught my attention from the moment he walked on stage. Like, he started strong, he finished strong. As soon as he entered, he removed his glasses, and it was just like this moment, and everybody in the audience felt it. And then we have Korea. So Korea had so much personality, and it's so interesting the things that men can do versus women can do on the runway, just like so different. And he really stood out. He was very unique. Now Laos, oh my goodness, first of all, the face, okay, like that's just him. So handsome on stage, just wow. And his wardrobe, the performances, you could really tell that he had practiced nailing like every single like look, every moment at the end of the runway, and he really just gave us great moments. Now Mexico, he wore this fantastic hat for this, and I was loving it. He was definitely a standout, clearly visually. Now we have Peru, and Peru wore this beautiful white suit, and he had this piece that went over him, and it was just like this fur piece, and it was just fantastic, and he carried it well. Now, Philippines really surprised me for this performance because I almost thought that he walked on and then was like walking off really quickly, but he wasn't. He walked on and then he did the kind of this like turn in the middle, and it was such a moment, and it was really blew your mind on stage. Now we had Netherlands. So Netherlands, very high fashion, just straightforward walk, but I like that he had the glasses, and then at the end he just had this moment where he revealed them. So that was a favorite moment of mine. Now we have Puerto Rico, and he was so confident, so confident on stage. One of the more simple walks, but I still appreciated it. And then Sierra Leone. Wow, he is a professional model, and you can really tell here. And from that moment, I was like, I don't know if there's anybody that's gonna do it for me quite like he does in this competition. He was just so fantastic. And then, but soon after him, South Africa, oh my gosh. So South Africa, like, so you could just feel, oh my gosh, so strong, so masculine. I loved the energy of his performance. And we also have Spain. So Spain was super fun. His outfit was so unexpected. And then he did this like removal reveal, kind of like a quick change, and it got the crowd going, or he was like, oh my gosh. So that was a really cool part of the show. And then we have Venezuela. But what can I say about Venezuela, right? Like, Venezuela is so solid. I actually got to meet him after the show. Really nice, really nice guy. And just such a great, just solid performance for him. So, you know, that's what it is in pageantry, right? So we always have our powerhouses, and they usually put on a great show. So for our top 10, we had Dominican Republic, Sierra Leone, Korea, South Africa, Venezuela, Laos, Haiti, Cote d'Ivoire, Peru, and Philippines. And none of these really surprised me. Now, since there are less men than women in the competition, instead of having a top 5, they announced a top 3. So our top 3 were Dominican Republic, Sierra Leone, who was my personal fave, and then Colombia. So, I mean, another huge favorite here. They all did a fantastic job, and one of these 3 will definitely be moving on to finals. He'll get that guaranteed spot, but during finals is when we're going to find out who won Miss and Mr. for Supra. So I want to give a quick mention at the end of this episode to the talent competition. There were 7 talent competitors for Miss, and then there were 4 for Mr., and they all entered a talent submission prior to the pageant, and then they narrowed down so that it wasn't like one long talent competition, which was actually really nice. And the performances were great. So let's talk about the Miss first. I was so surprised. We were about to start the show, and they called me over and said that I could be on the selection committee for the contestants for talent. So I was so excited. Like, being a singer and a dancer, I was very into it. So let's talk about a couple of standout performances for talent for me. So somebody that I was just really blown away with, and just how natural she was on stage, was Czech Republic. She played the flute, and I feel like playing the flute can be a challenging instrument to make interesting and make very entertaining, but she played from the song Oblivion. That's what she shared with everybody. And she had a musical accompaniment in the back, which is what I would recommend for many instruments if you're going to do a talent competition. And just her skill level, the technique of it, and how I just felt moved by the music. It was amazing. Also, we had Miss Japan, and she really surprised everybody. And she sang in Japanese and in English, which was really fun. So she's a talented vocalist. And then we had some interesting performances. So we had a magician, and then we also had an artist on stage. So that was cool to kind of mix things up, you know, and see something else. But the winner of the talent competition was Indonesia this year. And she was very interesting because she started by playing an instrument. And then she moved on to singing and dancing as well. And it was just really, really cool to see her do all three, and she really got the crowd going. So that was fantastic. And then for the Mr. contestants, we actually had 3 singers and then 1 dancer. And there was one singer that specifically really stood out to me, and that was Mr. Canada, because he shared that he actually wrote his song and it was his first time performing it, and it was so well written, and it obviously worked for his voice, right? He wrote it, and he showed lots of great control and range within that performance, and that was incredible. At that point, I was like, oh, okay, so he'll be our talent winner. But then Trinidad and Tobago stepped out on stage with this incredible, it was a dance, it was definitely a mixture. There were so many different influences, and I got to interview him after. And if you want to see that interview, just subscribe to QBN. You can find us on queenbeauty.tv, and you can see all of the extra stuff that's not on this channel. And I got to speak with him, and his performance was this dedication to his friend who recently passed away, who was murdered. And it's just a terrible thing, but I feel like that's what made it extra emotional. And what I found out is that he's trained in many different styles, like contemporary, hip hop, African, all sorts. And you can really see those influences in his performance. But gosh, just that he had some acrobatics in there. I mean, there were turns, there were great extensions, there was passion, there were great moments, and I was shocked to find out it was all improv. I've never heard of that. I have never heard of a dancer win a talent competition with an improv routine. And if you have, please let me know who. I would love to know who has won an international talent competition with improv. That was a great way, though, to end the night. Afterwards, we got a little bit of dinner, and I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna head to bed, and I will continue coverage. Please, if you like this content, like I said, just subscribe to this channel. You can follow me on social media at Dani Walker, or follow us at the Queen Beauty Network on Instagram, because I'll also be posting a ton of clips of the contestants there if you'd like to see that. So check out our Instagram stories specifically. But thank you so much for joining me for the episode. I hope to see you very, very soon for another one, and stay tuned for a lot more.